welcome to my review of F.L.Y. And first of all, spoiler warning, I will talk about some things you might not know about. After 4 years of waiting, Phantasialand finally opened the world's first flying launch coaster together with Rookburg. I got quite a lot of things to talk about in this review, so let's waste no time and begin. F.L.Y. is a next-generation flying coaster by Vekoma, and the first one to feature launches. We don't know the height and speed at the moment, but the ride features 2 launches, 2 inversions, and it's the longest flying coaster in the world. The ride is built right through the new steampunk area Rookburg, which I'll get to now. Rookburg is my new favorite theme park area. The theming here is incredible. It's really immersive and makes you feel like you're in a different world. All the buildings surrounding the area make it pretty much impossible to see anything of the area from the rest of the park. So much detail got put into Rookburg, there are so many effects and so many things to see. F.L.Y. is so well integrated into the area, it fits perfectly. There aren't that many paths in the area, so you can't go everywhere, though you can see a lot of things in every corner. The new hotel, Charles Lindbergh, merges so well with Rookburg, it's fantastic. Even the shops and restaurants in the area have incredible theming. And now, back to F.L.Y. The queue line of F.L.Y. goes through almost the entire area, and the view from many parts of the queue is stunning. There isn't that much highly detailed theming in the queue, because it focuses more on the view and working well together with Rookburg. At the end of the very long queue it goes underground, where you're greeted with great theming and a pre-show. At that point you are given a wristband, which you will then use to get a locker. And you've got to put everything in there, because then you will go through a security check, where they use these airport scanners to check if you still got stuff with you. The reason for these strict security rules is the way F.L.Y. interacts with Rookburg. If anything was to fall from the ride, the chance would be high that it could hit someone underneath the ride. The park didn't install security nets below the ride, because that would take away from the experience. After you have successfully cleared the security check, you are then walking around a cool looking steampunk machine. Then you finally are in the station, which has a great atmosphere. The seats of the train are facing towards the riders, which is very unique. The train has typical next generation Vekoma vest restraints and kind of weird restraints for your legs. So after being blown away by Rookburg, walking through the long queue line and clearing the security check, you are finally beginning your ride on F.L.Y. The train leaves the station with a soundtrack playing and the riders still being in an upright position with the track behind them. The train is traveling pretty fast alongside a brief pre-show, which consists of advertisements for products from Rookburg. Following that, there is another pre-show showing a factory. Then the train goes around a turn, where the track inverts and the train spins 90 degrees, so you now are in the flying position below the track. And then the train enters the outside part and rolls onto the first launch. The first launch isn't that powerful, but it's not forceless either, and it's really fun. Then there is an overbank turn around the hotel. The first half of the ride is fantastic. It does feel like flying, and it feels great. The overbanks here are fairly forceful and deliver some good G's. The first of 2 corkscrews plays with your orientation and provides some nice 0G. There are also some nice near misses where you get really close to the buildings. And one of the most surprising things, you get airtime. Some of the hills make you leave the vest restraint and float for a moment, which is such a phenomenal sensation in the flying position. There is also a part where the train dives through a steam effect, and you really feel that if you are in the left seat. The second launch is underground and pretty much as good as the first one, but you get launched upwards a bit at the end. And at the end of that launch, you get really good airtime and you're quite high up at that point. Here you were going around the hotel a second time. While the second half did feel a bit shorter than the first half, it still felt really long. In that half the turns are more intense and you even get some ejector airtime. The second corkscrew rips you around really well, and in the final few turns there is a nice water effect. Then you hit the brakes, which are themed to make it feel like you're landing with a plane. Shortly after the brakes, the track twists to the side and the train spins 90 degrees again so you're back in the upright position. And that was the F.L.Y. experience. Before riding it, I heard mixed opinions. Some called F.L.Y. tame, others said it's quite intense. Some people were disappointed, some were blown away. Which of these people am I now? Well, I got blown away on my first ride. In the 2 days I had at Phantasialand this year, I rode F.L.Y. a total of 9 times. I got the front and the back row multiple times, and I think they are about equal. F.L.Y. is a very well paced ride, and in the front row the ride has a better flow and the strongest airtime moment. In the back row you get pulled through many elements, which is especially great in the inversions. F.L.Y. is also glass smooth, with the only bit of rattle being at the second launch. The operations of this coaster are really fast, which is quite impressive if you think about the locker system and the flying coaster restraints. So what are my final thoughts about F.L.Y.? This ride is not just a coaster, it's an experience. It feels different from any other coaster that I've ridden, even from the heavily themed ones. Without the theming, this ride would be a lot less interesting, but the coaster itself does deliver some great forces. With my taste in thrill rides, F.L.Y. might not be the perfect coaster for me, but it surely is awesome. This ride deserves a score of 9.5. And there you go. That was my review of Rookburg and the F.L.Y. experience. Do you have any questions about F.L.Y., Rookburg or Phantasialand? Thank you for watching. Bye.